Good morning once again.
Good morning.
Welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide, where we believe that nothing happens by chance, that everything is by divine appointment. We heard the call, we answered that call. The call can be a still small voice within us, just a whisper, and we answer that call. We're here today to acknowledge our daily life is our temple and our religion. It's about practical spirituality. It's about acknowledging our daily life. You know, it's so fascinating because we hear about our daily life and then we hear about business. And somehow, when we're not acting from our highest and best self, we say, well, it's business. No, it's about our Father, Mother, God's business. It's about a ground of being. And what I love about this way of life is that we see everything as spiritual. Even the mundane becomes spiritual. The obscene becomes spiritual because we spiritualize it through our conscious knowing that all things work together for God. All things work together for good to them that love God. And when we put that love forward energetically, it returns to us pressed down, shaken together, and flowing over into every area of our life. As within, so without. So today, when we're looking at spirituality in our daily life, it's the opportunity that we have to know that everything is spiritual. It's not, well, this is business, and this is that, and this is the other, and now we're here on Sunday, so this is spiritual. Our daily life is our temple and our religion. And what we put into our daily life, the law of mind returns in amazing expressions of life. And it's an opportunity for us to grow, to expand, and to move beyond the appearances, the conditions, and the effects that show up in our lives. And most of you know that I had the opportunity to do a beloved one of our community made his transition, and I was driving to San Diego. Now, I have not made a long trip like that since my back surgery, so I had some concerns. And when the concern would come up, I would just declare I am whole, perfect, and complete, and I just release anything other than that. Anything foreign from the divine design, I return to its native nothingness from whence it came. And when it would come up, I would just release it in that way. And Thursday morning was a rainy morning. And so I wasn't real pleased about it, but I just knew that the angels would go before me and prepare the way with ease and grace. This was my affirmation. Now, these affirmations are powerful because they make a shift in our consciousness. They turn fear into faith, doubt into knowingness. So I got on the road about 6:15 a.m. to get to the Miramar National Cemetery. By 9 o'clock, 9:30, they really wanted us there. And I am driving out, and it's, starts to rain on the 10. And as I'm rounding, the 10, and I see 111, in the distance, and suddenly there is the most beautiful rainbow I have ever seen. And I said, thank you, Alex. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for the sign and a symbol. The way is made clear. For when the rainbow appears, I will remember the everlasting covenant between me and all living beings. Where that energy moves through the appearances and the conditions and the effects. And did it rain? It hailed. It did all that, but the traffic flowed. We were never, ever stopped for too great of a period of time. It just flowed along. And I made it to my destination in plenty of time, and I was in such gratitude that when we put the works with the faith and the actions with intentions, because believe me, there was the little voice in the head. How many of us, we know that we call it the monkey mind. It has the little voice, well, maybe you shouldn't go, and you have all these other concerns, and you had back surgery, and you had this, and you had that. And we just power through that. Get thee behind me, Satan. And we stand in our truth, and the truth penetrates the darkness. And the light absorbs and illuminates it. And there is a great knowingness where we can now allow ourselves to be in the world, to do what we need to do, right? And when we're in the world and we're at a higher spiritual vibratory frequency, that we attract into our lives people, places, and things that are going to forward and advance our deepest desire, our most sacred dream, our highest vision. When we get this, when we know this, when we come from that place, even I call it negotiating with reality. And even all of the relative world responds to that. I love the Tao. Lao Tzu from the 5th century. If you have not read the Tao, it's a beautiful work, and it's a Taoist philosophy. And it's about perfect action through inaction. And I call that the frequency keepers, the ones that are knowing the truth for us. It looks like, oh, they're not doing much, but they're knowing the truth. They're holding the frequency for a higher plane of expression. And there's a story about Lao Tzu and his student. And his student found himself working in the forest for a sculptor that did holy deities. He carved holy deities. And what his job was to really husk the bark, and to take his knife and to get all the bark out off of it and husk it and get it nice and smooth so that the master sculptor could make something beautiful out of it, a holy deity. And he was very grateful because, he needed the funds. And he was, scraping the bark and he was working, and suddenly he got bored. And boredom set in, and he was thinking, this is not fun, and this is monotonous. Here I am, scraping this bark. How can I quit? But I need the money. I need the money. So it was time to go get off work, and he met with his mentor, Lao Tzu. And he shared with Lao Tzu that his work was not, it didn't fulfill him, and it was very boring. And Lao Tzu said, well, the Tao doesn't want you to suffer or be uncomfortable. And he thought, oh, thank God, I can quit. And he says, I'm practicing his quitting speech. And then Lao Tzu added, however, and he knew that when there was a however, there was more to come. However, you have an opportunity here. Come with me, I want to introduce you to someone. And they went into a great vast stable, and Lao Tzu asked the stable manager, where is Loon? And he said, well, Loon is in the south stable. And they made it to the south stable, and there was Loon, and he had a very dark leathery skin. He had a hump, his back was humped. When he smiled, he was toothless, and he was shoveling horse manure in a bucket. And Lao Tzu said, how are you, Loon? He goes, oh, I am wonderful, thank you. He said, oh, it's such a beautiful day. I have nothing to complain about. The sun is shining, the horses are healthy, and my family is fed. It's a beautiful day. And Lao Tzu said, do you ever become unhappy or dissatisfied? He said, never. I wouldn't want to waste a moment of my life. And went on, shoveling the manure into the bucket. And the young student was just like in awe. And said, is he always that happy, this toothless, hunchback, leathery skinned man, shoveling dung in a barrel? Is he always this happy? Always. Because for him, it was a labor of love. It was transforming the routines of work into celebrations of life and love. The sun was shining, the horses were healthy, his family was fed. What else is there? Ah, yes. Perfect action. Through the inaction of going within and knowing the truth that sets us free to be who and what we are. And when we look outside of ourselves, we become dissatisfied and uncomfortable. So the young student began as he was taking his knife and he was whittling away all of the bark as people came through. He acknowledged them, and they wanted to know what he was doing, and he said, I'm part of this great, artistic, wonderful opportunity. My master is carving deities. And he began to see his life in a much more expansive way. It's like, the old adage where the two men were walking down a street in New York, and one saw a bricklayer and saying, what are you doing? He goes, I'm laying bricks. And he saw another one. He said, what are you doing? He says, I'm building a cathedral. That is the vision I am building. Each of us is a cathedral of light. The interfaith cathedral of light is within us. The inner faith, to know the truth, to feel that energy, to let go of what's no longer working, what no longer serves us, and all the little complaints that we have in the little human condition, and the pettiness of that kind of energy, and to let that go, return to its native nothingness, so we can know we are building a cathedral of light, that we are carving within ourselves the deities of the Holy One of Israel within each and every one of us. And when we connect with that energy, when we embrace in that energy, it's lifting us to this local means of expression, to the truth of our being, which is God. Whatever we conceive our God to be, whatever name we put on our higher power, it matters not. We don't want to be like the Aesop's fable, the dog that was given a bone, a big juicy bone, and he was traveling, and he was going over a little footbridge, and he happened to see his reflection in the river, and it looked like a larger dog with a larger bone. And what did he do? He dropped his bone and he dove in to grab the bone from what? His own reflection, losing the bone that he had. The moral, of course, is why do we grasp at the shadow and lose the substance? If we lose the substance of our lives, the energy of our lives, we are sounding brass and a tinkling cymbal. We are hollow. We are hollow. But when we open to life, realizing that our daily life is our temple and our religion, we're going to include it all of it, and spiritualize it, and grow and expand, and to become all that we can be. Because we're building a cathedral of light within our consciousness, and we're allowing our light to so shine before men and women that they see who we are and they glorify our Father, Mother, God within the heaven of our own consciousness. Our light is bringing in the energy. So on this glorious day, this Sunday, where the 2 or 3 are gathered together for a higher purpose, we feel the Holy I Am presence here in the midst of us, because you are as close to God as I am ever going to get. And I am as close to God as you are ever going to get. And if I am in that place in me and you are in that place in you, there truly is only one of us. And every time we bow to that energy in one another, we allow ourselves to go a little higher. And the higher we go, the energy of the spiral, that life is a spiral, that life goes not backward nor tarries with yesterday. Life is the forward progression of the soul. And that soul within us is eternal. And that as part of our human condition, that we have such an opportunity. Yes, we weep for our suffering and the things that we go through. But the day comes when we stop weeping that it's over. We begin to rejoice that it happened. And when we allow ourselves to be in that energy field, nothing else really matters. I want you to know, I went to the gathering yesterday, and I sat next to the person that I was told said all kinds of really interesting things about me that weren't the highest vibratory frequency, shall we say. I sat next to her, and I talked to her, and I communed with her, and I listened to her, and I acknowledged her. And so whatever any of that was, I was not going to be a party to it. I was going to speak to her Christ self. I was going to see her from the highest point of view. And she responded, and she was lovely. So when we, march into hell for a heavenly cause, all of of the universe conspires to lift us up, and the other, because there truly is no otherness. There is only oneness. And this is why I am in this way of life, and that I continue to be in this way of life, and to know the truth, and to challenge myself. Where do I need to grow? What is it that I need to do, to unfold and grow in my own right? So, as we come together this morning and realizing that our daily life is our temple and our religion, that everything is spiritual, that the minute we think that it isn't, that's mistaken identity. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. What that means is all have made mistakes and fallen short of their true self-image. The mistaken identity within us is when we forget that. Our true identity is God. We are created in the image and likeness of God, and it is good and what? Very good. And that's what we embrace. So this morning we're all going somewhere. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. And we acknowledge I'm in a high place and I will not come down. None of these outer things move me. None of the appearances, conditions, and effects that show up. I am not going to give my power away to those, because I am in a high place and I will not come down. And I say to each and every one of you, Namaste. The God in me celebrates the God in you, and the God in you celebrates the God in me. And if I'm in that place in me and you are in that place in you, there truly is only one of us. And I say shalom in this beautiful Lieberman Chapel, the peace that passes all understanding. And God bless us, everyone. And so it is.